Okay, up next we have another presentation, Partners for Climate Protection Program. I'll call on Kiana Simmons, Project Officer, and Lindsay Telfer, Manager of Capacity Development, Green Municipal Fund, for a presentation respecting the Partners for Climate Change Program. Are they?
They're online.
They're online, so.
Hi, Kiana, can you hear us?
Hi there, yes, you can.
Perfect. You should now have the ability to share your screen.
Yes, give me a moment. Can you see my screen?
Yep, we can see it now.
Let me just briefly find my presenter view. All right, good evening, Mr. Speaker, members of council. Thank you so much for having us tonight. My name is Kiana Simmons. I'm a project officer with the Green Municipal Fund at the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. Today I'm joined by my manager, Lindsay Telfer, Manager of Capacity Development at the Green Municipal Fund. And we are here to present just an information package on the Partners for Climate Protection Program and answer some of the questions that council may have on this initiative. So what is the Partners for Climate Protection Program? We are a network of over 520 Canadian municipal governments. Our members have made a commitment to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and act on climate change in their municipalities. Our program provides a framework to guide municipalities through the 5 steps of implementing a local climate action plan, and I will tell you what those 5 steps are in just a moment. And our program is a partnership between the Federation of Canadian Municipalities and ICLEI Canada, FCM being the funder and the project manager, and ICLEI being sort of our technical experts who support municipalities in some of those more complicated questions on how to do what they're interested in doing. Our program was founded in 1994, so this is our 30th year working with municipalities. And I did provide the slides for council beforehand, so you should be able to watch this video, which is linked in the slides. I won't play it. It's sort of an overview of what the program is, but I'm going to get into that just in case you want to refer to it later. This is just a map of our reach. So the program has, again, I think we're at 523 municipalities at this time. We're in 13 provinces and territories. And the program, or the municipalities that are part of our program represent over 70% of the Canadian population. And this map is really just to illustrate that the Partners for Climate Protection Program is a national network and is a way of connecting municipalities across the country. So your municipality would have access to information and discussions with municipalities that are in BC and Alberta, in the prairies, on the coast. And so I mentioned before that we have a 5-step framework. So when municipalities join the Partners for Climate Protection Program, this is what they're signing on to receive our support in doing. And we provide recognition at each of these milestones as our members are going through the process. So the first milestone is creating a greenhouse gas emissions inventory. We have 2 streams in the program, the corporate stream, which looks at the municipality's emissions, and the community stream, which looks at the community as a whole. And so what you're doing in that first step is looking at where our greenhouse gas is being emitted in different actions being undertaken by your municipality or in your community, and quantifying them. And we provide tools and supports to help you do that. It is the most difficult step, and it tends to take the most time. Second milestone is setting a target, and that is an emissions reduction target. So once you've identified where those emissions are being created, you're looking at where can we reduce those, or where would we have the most impact if we had if we implement interventions. Milestone 3 is to develop a local climate action plan. And that is it's not prescribed by our program what that is. We let municipalities decide what are the priorities for them, and they will submit to us to show that they've done it. And once they've created that plan, with whatever the priorities and the actions are for them, that's when we would provide recognition for milestone 3. Milestone 4 is the implementation of that plan. So initiating a tree planting program or initiating a composting program. Whatever is the priority for that municipality and how they put it into place is up to their discretion. But that's what milestone 4 consists of. And milestone 5 is monitoring the impact. So of the actions that you've identified in your climate action plan, once you've implemented them in milestone 4, what is the impact? Where are the emissions? What's happening? Are they being reduced? Are they changing? This is a step for municipalities to reflect on their actions and to see, what's actually working for you. And so our framework has been designed with support at every level, but also to be sort of redone. Once you have done your monitoring at milestone 5, you'd be welcome to use our support again and create an emissions inventory again and kind of look at what's happening in your municipality after you've taken whatever actions you've chosen to take. So why join the Partners for Climate Protection program? We are a free membership. We don't provide funding. Often people ask, okay, well, is there money involved? No, we really just provide supports to municipalities to undertake the efforts that they are interested in undertaking. Our program is funded by the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, and this allows us to provide technical supports as well as different resources, different programming to our members at no cost to help them address their priorities. What are some of these technical tools and supports? On the right, we have a little screenshot of what we call the PCP tool. This is kind of our most useful resource that our members have access to. It does two things. So the first, we have a tool that helps you calculate your greenhouse gas emissions to create that inventory. That first milestone that I mentioned, that is sort of the most time consuming and takes the most effort, we have a tool to help walk you through that. And it shows you where to look for the data when you're looking at quantifying greenhouse gas emissions from your landfill or from your municipal fleet. This tool will help you put those numbers in. It's got sort of the calculations embedded, and it helps especially small municipalities who don't have a lot of staff capacity or don't have consultant support, helps them to do this milestone by themselves. And then it's also a submission tool. So our members will submit their documentation for the recognition of the other milestones through the PCP tool. We also create different documents throughout the years. We have guidebooks, we do case studies, we try and focus on things that are of interest to our members, help kind of inspire, but also provide that technical information that they might need. Another big sort of component of our program is peer learning. And as I mentioned, being a national network, one of the benefits is that we try to connect municipalities from across the country. We do that in two ways. The first is through the PCP Hub. It is sort of like an online forum where members can ask questions. Hey, what's your municipality doing related to this problem? What are you doing with building retrofits? And people can pose questions. They can promote, events. There's a webinar that's on this really interesting topic. Maybe other members would like to join. It's kind of a place for municipalities to connect, and then for us to share information with the municipalities, for our members, like the annual survey and new resources that come out. And we also have a monthly community of practice. This is where our members can connect with each other via video. We have a 1-hour call once a month, and it's just a free and available time for members to ask questions. We always have an expert on hand, and sometimes we'll have different people from across the country who are working on innovative projects present on what they're working on. Another sort of informal but connection we have, obviously, we're funded by PCP is funded by the Green Municipal Fund. And so since we don't provide funding to members through the Partners for Climate Protection program, we try to connect our members with funding opportunities from the Green Municipal Fund. And so you can see here, these are some of the areas that the Green Municipal Fund provides grants and loans to municipalities. And since we end up reviewing quite a lot of climate action plans, we might say, hey, you're looking at doing organic waste to energy. We actually have funding for that through the Green Municipal Fund. Let me put you in touch with someone. So we try to kind of make those connections for our members. And the Green Municipal Fund also has several resources, and we have courses, webinars, case studies, guidebooks. different capacity development resources that sort of go beyond what the Partners for Climate Protection cover. It goes into some different areas that our members find to be quite useful. Lastly, the PCP program provides recognition for the work that you're doing regarding climate action at every step of the way. So we have a digital badge program. We also will send letters and an official letter and an email every time that you achieve a milestone. We find that this is a great way for municipalities to be able to share the work they're doing on social media. And so we have like a press release template. We have badges that you can put on your website. It just helps you to promote what you're doing, because oftentimes municipalities are making impact or are doing a lot. And sometimes it's hard for constituents to necessarily know exactly what's going on. So this digital recognition is provided at every step. Yeah, that is my very brief overview of the program, 10 minutes. I'm happy to answer any questions, and Lindsay is here to help with that as well. And thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much, Kiana, and I'll open the floor from our council for questions to the presenter. Questions? Go ahead, Councillor DeRose.
Yeah, first of all, if you go to your third page, I watched that YouTube video, and I just need an explanation. If you can go to your third page and play that YouTube video. At the 29-second mark, it speaks of municipalities have influence over 50% of greenhouse gas emissions. Could you just explain that? Clarify, please.
Yes, I guess we have seen, working with our members, that a lot of municipalities are passionate sort of about the greenhouse gas emissions emitted from sort of the community and the municipal body, and different incentives can be put in place that can sort of support people in making green transitions. Again, through our program, it's kind of up to members to decide what their priorities are. But we have lots of municipalities that have sort of, through the program, made different investments and had greenhouse gas reductions in different sectors. And it's, I guess, not necessarily a specific example there, but we've seen kind of across the program, people have different priorities and are able to achieve reductions working through the program.
I still don't have it explained, but we'll go to the next question. Have any communities reached all 5 steps?
Yes.
Can you name a few?
Yes, the city of Kitchener, Markham, we celebrated them last year at our Sustainable Communities Conference. I don't have a ton off the top of my head, a lot of sort of the big cities. I think the city of Toronto was the first city to complete the program. We tend to have about 5 or 6 municipalities. I think we had 8 last year who achieved milestone 5.
Thank you. I'd like to quantify things when I'm asked to spend taxpayers' money. Can you quantify how much? First of all, can you give me any? So the ones that reached all 5 steps, do you have a rough idea of what they spent doing it internally?
No, participating in the program doesn't cost any money. It's really hard to say what a municipality would spend in implementing the actions that they've chosen to put in their local climate action plan. I think that would be something that would need to sort of be a discussion between a municipality and themselves, but we don't deal with money actually at all.
Yeah, just to let you know, staff time is considered taxpayers' money, but we'll move on. Can you quantify how much greenhouse gases have been reduced with the communities that have participated?
Again, it would depend on the municipality. They would provide that in sort of their final milestone 5 report. I don't have one handy right now, but generally we do see reductions at the end of the program. Or once a municipality has gone through all 5 milestones.
implementing and running environmental programs can be resource intensive. Can you provide details on the staff time required to manage ICLEI's initiatives, including the resource needed, associated fees, and any hidden costs that municipalities might incur?
I'm not sure what ICLEI's initiatives refers to. The Partners for Climate Protection Program is meant to act as a program to support staff with low capacity. So we will provide sort of free technical support and resources to staff, as well as to connect them with sort of practical examples and templates that they might be able to use in order to sort of lighten the burden as they work through the 5 milestones.
So how are these costs justified and communicated to the stakeholders involved? Because when we asked our staff, they have no idea how much this is going to cost.
The program doesn't cost any money, but I think, again, as a municipality identifies their priorities, sometimes we find that things that you might already be working on are opportunities to mitigate greenhouse gas emissions, and they can fit into work you're already doing. And again, we try to provide those opportunities to connect through the Green Municipal Fund to help sort of support initiatives that generally contribute to your greenhouse gas reductions.
Thank you.
Counselor,
Pardon?
You're on your last question because you're running out of time.
Last
5
question,
minutes.
Mr. Mayor. I have a whole bunch. Economic sustainability is as important as environmental sustainability. How does ICLEI address concerns about the economic impact of its initiatives on local communities, particularly regarding the financial burden on property taxes?
I can't speak to ICLEI. I work for the Federation of Canadian Municipalities.
Okay, then just replace the word ICLEI with who you work for.
I can you repeat the question? I'm
Okay.
Can I ask one more question, Mr.
Sorry,
Mayor?
Mr. Mayor, I'd recommend you move on. The councilor can have an additional 3 minutes once everyone else has had an
Yeah.
opportunity.
Councillor Hanley,
Thank
you're
you.
up next. Go ahead.
Here's mine.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I would assume that we don't have actually anybody here from ICLEI, just from the Federation of Canadian Municipalities?
yes.
Okay. Can I ask you, first question would be, as a municipality, what are our legislated obligations in regards to greenhouse gas emissions?
Truthfully, not something that we deal with as part of the program. Again, this is like an optional program to join, and we just provide supports to municipalities upon request. So there's no sort of legislative or obligatory component in this program.
So there's nothing in law that says that we have to do it. Thank you very much. Second up, could you explain how is it that you measure the amount of greenhouse gas emissions going into the atmosphere from municipal facilities?
We ask the municipalities to create a greenhouse gas emissions inventory, and some of the documentation on our website for the sort of milestone 1 submissions would help provide information on the methodology. And so each municipality kind of can do it their own way.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Would that be in accordance with the Green Energy Act of 2009 and updated in 2019 in regards to municipalities' obligations?
I'm really not sure about that question.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to go on. Seeing that you represent the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. Seeing you're here representing them, can I ask you why, as the Federation of Canadian Municipalities and the Government of Canada, that you would absolve yourselves from any liability in regards to municipalities implementing your ICLEI initiatives? Why do you absolve yourself from any liability?
I might ask my manager, Lindsay Telford, to jump in on that one and see if we can get you an answer.
I would like a little bit more clarification on the question. What exactly are you referring to with respect to absolving responsibility?
Yeah, okay. Actually, in your PCP Partners for Climate Protection website, There's a section there that says this project is carried out with the assistance from the Green Municipal Fund, a fund financed by the Government of Canada and administered by the Federation of Canadian Municipalities and ICLEI. Notwithstanding this support, the views expressed are the personal views of the authors and ICLEI Canada. The Federation of Canadian Municipalities and the Government of Canada accept no responsibility for them. Can I ask why you have absolved yourself any liability in regards to us initiating this program? Why would you do that?
I think because the priorities that each municipality sets within the scope of the program are their priorities. We are not prescribing those priorities, nor do we necessarily endorse all the priorities that all communities may in fact have in their priorities. They're very local. They're very they're developed by you for you, and so we are not. We are not within the scope of the program dictating or prescribing the program focus for Thorold or for any other member for that matter.
Okay, thank you for making that clear for me. One more quick one. Population growth and urbanization impact. There is concern among the taxpayers I talk with that with some substantiality programs to drive population growth away from smaller municipalities or urban areas. How would this impact the growth of small towns, rural landowners, and the cost of housing in urban areas? And I'm just going to expand on that. I asked that because when I look on ICLEI's website, and I know you don't represent ICLEI, and I wish they were here, is that it actually states not 5 milestones, it states 5 pathways. Can I ask why on the actual ICLEI website it states pathways, not framework? Because the pathways are low emission, nature-based, equitable, resilient, and circular development. I have concern with that. So why the difference?
I think those might be outside the scope of the Partners for Climate Protection program. I think that might be sort of a discussing something else. Our milestones are very specific to what we do at the Partners for Climate Protection program. But those pathways might refer to a different initiative.
Okay, through ICLEI. I just wish we had someone here from ICLEI as we had requested, Mr. Mayor. Someone, the representatives from the PCP or ICLEI, which I believe we don't have and still haven't had. Thank you very much.
Just to jump in there, we are representing the Partners for Climate Protection program. ICLEI is its own individual organization, as is the Green Municipal Fund and the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. And the Partners for Climate Protection program is a joint initiative that we are implementing together. It itself is an individualized program as well and does not represent the full scope of either of the partners, but where we come together in connection and in unison.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Then that tells me then this is actually a government-funded program and administered by the government, not by ICLEI. Is that what you're saying?
We are not a representative of the federal government, but the Federation of Canadian Municipalities and the Green Municipal Fund does receive federal funding.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else have questions? Any other members of council? Go ahead, Councillor O'Hare.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to Kiana. Kiana, you spoke about milestone 1 taking the most time. I know this is a difficult question to answer, but can you give an approximate time frame of what a municipality the size of ours, let's say 30,000 residents, how long it might take to complete that milestone 1? Are we talking 1 year or 5 years? So just I'd like to hear your insight on that.
Yeah, it's not necessarily dependent on the size of your municipality, but the data you have available. And so we find sometimes with smaller municipalities, and we have many municipalities much smaller than yours that have worked through the milestones. It really depends on, how much time staff have to get that data, and then if that data is readily available, if sort of the bodies that they're working with to get that data cooperate. Sometimes you can complete that milestone within several months. Sometimes municipalities will join the program and they'll start accessing the resources and they'll take their time and they won't complete it for a couple of years. Again, we don't necessarily push municipalities to get it done, but it's something that once you've sort of found the data, putting it in the calculator, it doesn't take a whole lot of time to do, but to contact the people and get the right information really depends on sort of the quality or the sources of your data and the connections that you have to the different departments that you might need that information from.
So what I'm hearing is that there's no specific time frame, so that if we should take a little bit longer to complete something, that's fine. We work at our own pace.
Absolutely.
Okay, great, thank you. I wanted to ask, how easily accessible is the someone from the PCP organization? How accessible are they to reach, to answer questions, to support the work that's being done at our municipality?
Yeah, and you'll see, I'm going to pull up sort of the last slide. We have a Partners for Climate Protection Program email, which I check every day. So we are reachable every day. Again, we have those monthly calls where we can have those open discussions once a month. And I had a member email today asking if she could have an information meeting because she's the only person working on climate change initiatives at her municipality. And we booked the meeting for Friday. So generally speaking, our turnaround time and to access someone from the Secretariat is quite quick.
Great, thank you. Do you ever make personal visits to meet with staff and work even closer?
Not necessarily. We'll do these council presentations. That's sort of the travel that we get up to, but we don't go to the municipalities. We work with them digitally, given that we're a national network. And we're sort of federally funded. We're not traveling. We're using our money to create resources to support our members.
Okay. Can you tell me, of the two categories, community and corporate, can you generalize and say which one is a little bit easier to complete or perhaps may cost more? Is there one over the other?
I would say that a lot of municipalities start with corporate because quantifying sort of that information is a little bit easier. You have your contacts at City Hall and you know sort of what is happening in your municipality. When you're looking at the community stream, your scope gets a little broader, and right, different municipalities have different industries, have different natural resources. So it kind of differs, but usually municipalities will start with the corporate stream, and oftentimes they will do the corporate stream at the same time as the community and sort of work through both milestones. But I do see corporate sort of more often than community.
So you can complete the corporate before you even tackle the community?
Yes, you could finish the corporate and start the community years later. You could complete them at the same time. We don't necessarily push for either order. We just support you in whatever you're undertaking at this time.
Mm-hmm. All right, you spoke of some grants that were available that covered certain initiatives. Do you know of any grants that immediately can be accessed to implement phase one, or is that not an area where grants can be utilized?
So step one is creating that emissions inventory. It's a good question. We don't provide funding through the Partners for Climate Protection program, so it's a little bit more of a Green Municipal Fund program, but the tool that we have created is designed so that it's sort of easier for you to complete that step, and we have resources available. We also will offer technical expert time to help walk you through that if need be. So I don't think that we necessarily have money out for it, but we do have support in other fashions.
Okay, thank you very much. That's everything.
Anyone else with questions? Is there any other councillor that has questions? Go ahead, councillor.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, just a few more questions. Are you able to tell us how much carbon dioxide is in the Earth's atmosphere?
Not at this current moment.
Yeah. I'm a teacher and I like numbers, so I'm calling this carbon dioxide by numbers. It's approximately 420 parts per million, or 0.42%, 42 of 1% of all the gases in the atmosphere. How much of that carbon dioxide do you think comes from natural sources like decayed animal and plant material?
Seems outside the scope of my presentation today.
Just to let you know, it's 97%.
Councillor, what further questions do you have?
Well, they should be knowledgeable about this, Mr. Mayor. If they're pushing this stuff on us, they should be knowledgeable about this. I shouldn't have to research it and learn, Mr. Mayor. So 3% so basically, that means the world's 8 billion people produce only 3% of all carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Is that correct?
Mr. Mayor, point of order. I don't think we're here for a science lesson.
He's asking questions,
I'm asking
Mr. Mayor,
questions.
point of order.
I'm just gonna, do our presenters have an answer for that, or are we moving on?
I would only recommend that council look to the International Panel on Climate Change online. Has a wealth of resources and information should you wish to look at the global consensus on climate science at the present moment. And I'm sure they have representatives and Canadian representatives who might be willing to come to council and share their thoughts on the state of science.
Do you know who funds them? I didn't think so. Thank you.
Okay, are you done? Okay, Councillor Hanley, go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to ask a question. I was going to hold off on it. In regards to, now that we've gone here, because it's you don't work for ICLEI, you work for the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. And do you believe that a non-governmental organization's agenda should be part of a municipal council council mandate? And I ask that because ICLEI themselves, if I could just find here, I apologize in regards to it because I have to go on my phone and get it up. But there's a local agenda 21 planning guide. And I just want to ask, is that what ICLEI follows in regards to it? Because I was doing some research, again, as I concur with Councillor DeRose, we should be having individuals here that can answer our questions, which hasn't been the case here tonight. But there's a local agenda 21 planning guide, and that's actually an ICLEI documentation. So I ask, do you believe that a non-government organization's agenda should be part of a municipal councillor's mandate? Because that's what this is. This is pushing Agenda 21. I got the literature right here from ICLEI.
The Partners for Climate Protection program is designed to help support municipalities in their climate action that they choose to undertake. We have nothing mandated through the program. We don't force municipalities to do anything. We really are just here to offer support.
Okay, but your belief is to implement Agenda 21. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there any further questions for the presenters? Seeing none, Kayana and Lindsay, I want to thank you for your presentation.